Hey everyone, so as you can see, I'm not in the UK for this month's vlog. Instead, I'm here in Paphos in Cyprus, and I'm going to be heading underwater to try and track down as much marine life as I can possibly find. And in particular, I want to find both species of sea turtle that live here in Cyprus. They have greens and they have loggerheads. So let's head in for the first snorkel, see what the underwater landscape looks like, and see what we can find. Let's go.
Wading out into the water, I notice it's really stirred up, and as I dive in, the visibility is absolutely terrible. So I swim out further through the sand and the stirred up sediment, over the reef, trying to get to deeper water. And as I travel across the reef, it does clear up, and I spot an iconic Mediterranean species, the ornate wrasse. This is a male, and he is setting up a territory where he will fight off any passing males that might come through. He's doing so in order to court passing females. Moving on, I headed out along the reef into deeper water, and it wasn't long before I found my favourite animal, the octopus. During the middle of the day, octopus are usually found hiding out in cracks and crevices in the rock, emerging at night to go out and hunt. So I was really surprised to find this octopus so active. Octopus can be found throughout the Mediterranean. They are known for their extraordinary intelligence and phenomenal camouflage abilities. Adults can grow up to 1.3 meters in length and are widely considered as the most intelligent of all invertebrates. They can navigate mazes, distinguish shapes, and even solve complex problems. It's just the most special and memorable encounter every single time I meet an octopus underwater in their environment.
So I've just been in for my first snorkel, and yeah, really interesting. As you can see, it's very, very choppy, which is making life a bit tricky, I have to say. Nonetheless, I did find an octopus, and it was incredible. I mean, it's always amazing when you can find an octopus, and actually I think the choppiness of the sea today actually helped me, because the octopus was out on top of the rocks. I think either hunting, it's quite early in the day for an octopus to be out hunting, so I think potentially because of the choppy weather, the octopus had decided to move down, perhaps away from the shallows, looking to go deeper. And anyway, I found it and it was absolutely gorgeous. So that was such a great start, such an amazing start.
After a great first day and meeting my favourite animal underwater, I make plans to head round to a different spot the next morning.
I'm just heading around to the more sheltered side of the bay to check it out, see if the underwater landscape looks any different over there. And yeah, I'm really interested to see what I can find, because it's really choppy over this side, but it does look calmer over there. So let's go, let's jump in and let's see what we can find.
Immediately after jumping in, a shoal of barracuda swim underneath me. These were pretty big, and I'm pretty sure they were all adults, and it's really unusual to see a group of them in the shallows like this, and I think potentially the choppy weather had driven them in, but it was amazing to see nonetheless. As I swam out further, the visibility was incredible and miles better than the other side of the bay. Plant life smothered the rocks, and there were shoals of fish like these anchovies swimming everywhere. As I headed out deeper, I noticed a really important plant. This is seagrass, the lungs of the sea. Seagrass is the third most valuable ecosystem in the world, yet the planet loses about 7% of its seagrass every year due to dredging, climate change and pollution. This nursery of the sea is abundant with life. A single hectare of seagrass can support tens of thousands of fish and millions of invertebrates. Despite covering just a fraction of the seafloor, seagrass meadows store an estimated 18% of the ocean's total carbon, and they can lock away carbon 35 to 50 times more effectively than tropical rainforests. Seagrass, crucially for my mission, is also the favourite food of turtles. And as I swim out further down the reef, I can see that this seagrass meadow stretches deep into the water and out beyond where I'm able to swim. This, I think, could be a fantastic spot to revisit later on today.
So I've just come out from a snorkel on the other side of the bay, and it is much better over here. It's really clear, really calm. There's lots of plant life as well, and crucially big patches of seagrass, which is one of the favourite foods of the turtles. So I'm going to come back here this afternoon, late afternoon, and spend a couple of hours snorkeling this spot, and you never know, might get really lucky. Looks good, at the very least might see another octopus or a moray eel. Let's see, but I feel good, I feel positive.
Later on, I headed back round the bay to try my luck for my first turtle. As I jumped in, the visibility was fantastic and the light underwater was also absolutely beautiful. So I swam out deep to find the seagrass meadows. As I swam out over the reef, the fish activity had died down for the day as they all prepared to go to sleep for the night. It was eerily quiet and it had a feeling of anticipation about the snorkel. I swam out deeper and deeper into the reef when suddenly, beneath me appeared a gorgeous green sea turtle, feeding on a strand of seagrass. All my hard work and preparation had paid off and my heart was pounding. What an incredible animal. Cyprus is one of the biggest breeding grounds of green turtles in the Mediterranean, and this was a fairly young, juvenile green turtle that was clearly coming into the bay in the evening to feed on the seagrass. Adult green sea turtles feed almost exclusively on seagrasses. They crop the seagrass blades close to the seabed and return to the same spots to graze on fresh new growth. Regular grazing by the turtles prevents seagrass from becoming overgrown, diseased, or choked by dead material. And digested plant matter quickly breaks down and returns vital nutrients back into the marine ecosystem. Intact seagrass beds act as safe nurseries for fish, shrimp, and many other species, making the turtle a vital component of a healthy marine ecosystem. From late May to the end of September, females haul up onto the beach to lay their eggs, and they can lay up to 100 eggs in one evening. After a magical encounter with this elusive marine reptile, it headed off down the reef and into the blue, following the seagrass meadows down into the deeper water where it would continue to feed. And I left the sea absolutely full of joy.
That was incredible. Oh my goodness me. I was in there for probably 2 hours and I was just about to give up and get out for the evening when a turtle appeared. I'm pretty sure it was a green sea turtle. And it was just cruising amongst the seagrass, feeding on the seagrass, just cruising around. It wasn't bothered by me at all. Oh, it was epic, absolutely epic. They are just the most mesmerizing animals. I'm so happy. I'm so happy right now. That's one down. One down, one to go.
I headed back to the hotel full of joy and really hopeful for the next day and perhaps seeing another turtle or whatever the ocean may hold for me. When I jumped in the next morning, I was shocked. Overnight, everything had changed, and when I got into the water, it was a stew of microplastics. Ocean microplastics contaminate marine environments worldwide. They infiltrate deep sea food webs and disrupt natural ecological processes. And recently, being found in humans too. I swam amongst the plastics, grabbing as many of the bigger pieces that I could and stuffing them in my pockets. Ocean microplastics severely impact sea turtles. Over half of all sea turtles worldwide have ingested plastic debris. And floating plastic bags look just like jellyfish, which are a primary food source for many sea turtle species. And as I swim out away from the plastics, I notice another major issue that's facing the Med: the presence of alien invasive species. I see many species on this snorkel that I'm usually used to finding in the Red Sea, not here in the Mediterranean. Invasive species in any ecosystem wreak absolute havoc. They displace native species and create a major imbalance within the food web. Due to overfishing, many of these fish also lack any kind of marine predator that would keep them in check, meaning that they're spreading like wildfire.
Okay, well, I'm back in from my snorkel today, and it was a really interesting one that raised a couple of issues. So first and foremost, the plastic situation today was shocking. Microplastics everywhere. It was like an ocean of microplastics. It's always hard to film things that are sad, but actually I'm glad I filmed that today because it needed to be shown, it needed to be documented. And it worries me because this is a hotspot for two species of sea turtle, the greens and the loggerheads. This is where they come to nest. And if you've got microplastics and big tarps that look like jellyfish floating around in the surrounding oceans, the impact that's going to have on the nesting populations here is going to be really bad. So yeah, not impressed by that, I have to say. Not impressed. The second really notable thing from today's snorkel was the presence of Red Sea species. Cyprus sits right next to the Suez Canal. The Suez Canal connects the Red Sea up to the Mediterranean. And what's happening is you've got various Red Sea species traveling up through the canal into the Med, particularly with the warming climate. This is becoming a more habitable sea for them. I saw Red Sea cornet fish, I saw Red Sea goatfish, Red Sea puffer fish, which I've never seen in the Med before. And I'm sure if you go deeper, then you'll find the really damaging lionfish, which is causing absolute havoc in the Med. But listen, sometimes you go out, you have the most magical snorkel, you see the most beautiful species and everything seems amazing and perfect. Other times you go out and the issues that are facing our oceans slap you in the face and you can't ignore them. And that is what happened today. The microplastics were awful, and obviously seeing all the Red Sea species as well. So it was definitely a morning of discovery, and yeah, very, very interesting. And I'm glad I documented it because these things need to be documented, need to be shown. We need to continue to raise awareness about these issues because they are bad, that is for sure. Yeah. And it's a shame because this is a gorgeous, gorgeous part of the world and it should be a thriving ocean as well.
A few days go by, and over time the plastic appears to have washed out onto the shore and the water is in slightly better condition. So I head out in hope of fulfilling the final part of my mission, finding a loggerhead sea turtle. As I swim out through the rocky shallows, I encounter a species that I haven't seen yet on this trip, a Mediterranean moray eel. Moray eels use their strong sense of smell to patrol the rocks and catch fish, octopus and crustaceans. They're often seen with their mouths open like this one, which is simply how they pump water over their gills in order to breathe. Moving on, I leave the moray eel to continue hunting, but I can't help but feel that maybe I've missed my chance to see a loggerhead turtle and complete my mission. I swim out deeper and deeper into the reef, over the seagrass meadows as far as I can go, when something approaches me from the depths. It's a loggerhead. It's come up from the bottom where it was feeding to come and take a closer look at me, and it is absolutely beautiful. All of the hours that I've put in on this trip, snorkeling the waters, looking for the best possible habitats to try and find both species of turtle, have paid off. Cyprus is a crucial nesting ground for these endangered turtles, just like it is for the greens. Females return to their birth beaches every 2 to 4 years to lay around 100 eggs per clutch in the sand. 60 days later, the hatchlings will enter the sea and begin life for themselves. Adults can grow up to 3.5 feet long and weigh up to 350 pounds, making them a big turtle. They have an oversized head housing powerful jaws, which are capable of crushing hard-shelled prey like sea urchins and clams. Loggerheads are carnivorous, and they're bottom feeders that eat crabs, whelks, conches and jellyfish. They spend most of their lives out in the open ocean and shallow coastal areas when nesting, so I feel super privileged and so lucky to have some time with this magnificent animal. As it comes up to the surface to take a big gulp of air, it heads back to the sea floor and our encounter comes to an end.
That was incredible. I just found a loggerhead and my god, they are just the most phenomenal, sort of prehistoric looking turtles. They're just stunning, and it was so relaxed. It was feeding and just floating around, cruising. It came up for air a couple of times, came right over to me at one point to check me out. Oh man, it just fills your soul, fills your heart, makes you feel so happy and so privileged, you know, to get to spend time with an animal like that. Absolutely gorgeous. And although there's actually quite a lot of other people in the water at the moment, it was only me. It was just me and the turtle. It's so special, so special. And I think the other thing that this shows is you don't need to do excursions and prepaid trips to find wildlife. You can do it off your own back, and it's so much more rewarding when it happens. And the beautiful thing was that with both of my experiences on this trip with the turtles in the water and all of the wildlife, is that it was one-on-one. It was just me and the animal, and it just makes it so much more special and so much more rewarding, because that has come from me searching the marine landscape here, figuring out where the turtles might appear if they do come into the bay, and I've been rewarded with 2 different turtles, both species, green and loggerhead, and I'm so happy, honestly. It's just amazing getting to spend time with the animals in the water like that. It's made me so happy. I'm so happy. Amazing experience. Never ever gets old swimming with turtles.
And with that, my Cyprus adventure comes to an end. I really hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you in the next one.